Hello friends, welcome back to that 1870s homestead. My name's Rachel, and you guys were just with me. I have the same outfit on I had on in the last video, where we were canning spinach, and it's still going. And it's 7:30, and I have one more task to do tonight, and that is ketchup. So my last, one of my most recent tomato videos was making sloppy joe sauce, and I used all of my previously canned ketchup from the pantry. So we're just gonna restock, and it doesn't take much tomatoes to do a single batch, which will give me 5 or 6 pints, which is plenty for our needs. So these tomatoes were just, let me pull it up, in a bag, frozen. They have thawed. I didn't take the time to core them before I froze them, so I'm just taking the cores out, and then we're gonna cook them down a bit. And did I tell you how many tomatoes it takes? Like 6 pounds or 18 or so tomatoes. So I have all kinds in here. Cherry tomatoes, Cherokee purples, Berkeley tie-dye, Romas, not Romas, but Amish paste. What else do I have going on? Oh, I see Dr. Witchy's. I have found over my years of preserving tomatoes that variety is always the key to something really, really good. So I'm just gonna take these skins or cores out. I'm not worrying about the skins too much at this time. We'll have an opportunity to get the skins off later, and all I'm gonna do is get these cores out. So I have shown this in a video before, and these are still pretty darn cold. But it was in the context of having roasted my frozen tomatoes, and I just want to show you, like, once you freeze tomatoes, it's really quite simple to get the cores out. I just kind of squeeze the core and pull all the pulp off, and then the core comes pretty much out. So don't fret if you're in the middle of garden harvest season and you don't have time to get your cores out of your tomatoes. They come out so easy once they've been frozen. And these Romas especially, are Amish paste. The skins just slip right off so nicely. And just squeeze that core, and I'll just pull, and it just comes right out. Another nice thing about freezing your tomatoes is all this juice. Now I know this recipe calls for tomato paste. Maybe I won't have to use as much because I'm saving off that juice because I don't need it all for this. If I need to add any to it because it's too thick, I'll have it to the side and I can add it if needed. Okay, I got them all nice and mushed up. It should be about 10 cups or so of tomatoes when you're done. So I'm going to turn this up. We're gonna boil those tomatoes for like 25 minutes. And then we'll take our immersion blender to it, and I'll show you my tip that I do in my kitchen for quick deseeding for small batch stuff like this where you don't want to get out the food mill and the strainer, and it works pretty darn good. Okay, it's been about 25 minutes. Let's turn that heat off because I don't want to deal with it while it's super hot. I mean, it's going to be hot, but I just don't want it boiling while I'm doing the next step. So get yourself a blender or immersion blender, whatever you have on hand. I'm going to blend this real quick. It won't take long. All right, now this is my trick for when I'm doing small batch tomato stuff, and I might have some skins and I don't want a lot of seeds in it. Now some seeds may slip through, but all of them, I'll catch a lot. So I just have my little strainer, and this works really well. Now I have a lot of skins off. There probably is just a couple in here, but I'll do this even when I haven't skinned my tomatoes for small batches like this, and I catch a ton, like almost all the skins. So then just load it up and then run your spoon around. And see, you're just getting yummy goodness down in the pot. So good. So look at that, just pure tomato sauce. Put that back in my bowl. And I need to grab my spatula back, but I'm gonna go ahead and turn the heat back up to probably medium. We're gonna add 1.5 cups of sugar. It calls for 1 can of tomato paste. So this is pretty thick already. So I'm gonna see about just adding half. And I know this isn't tomato paste, it is my dehydrated tomato paste. So I'm just gonna start with about half of that, which it was 12 tablespoons, so I did probably like 6 tablespoons. About 1/8 of a cup of liquid aminos. And the secret ingredient, Mrs. Wage's ketchup mix. So Mrs. Wage's ketchup mix doesn't call for the liquid aminos. If you're not new to my channel, I swear by it. It's the magic ingredient to make all things taste better. So we are going to just stir this all up, let that tomato paste rehydrate, my tomato paste powder. And if I need to add some more water, I will. And what do we need to do next? Let's see. 5 minutes. 5 minutes, that's it. So I'll be stirring this and cooking it for 5 minutes, and then we'll judge whether or not we need to add any of our water back. It's looking like a pretty darn good texture of ketchup. I need to actually grab my whisk though. Okay, yes, that is looking good. That looks like some perfect ketchup. Ketchup is ready to can. So let's get going. I want to start with my smaller jars. These aren't like standard pints. I don't know what they are. They were a gift when we had that canning shortage, and my stepmom bought me a bunch. So there are a couple seeds. I'm not going to pretend like that system worked 100%, but I would say 95% of the seeds are out of this ketchup. How about that? Pretty nice. So now we're stocked back up. I do not need ketchup easily for a year or two. We just don't use that much, especially now that I've got Sloppy Joe sauce, you know, but just ketchup to have for like a burger or fries. We don't really use it. If we buy it, it's typically because we need it to, in the past, to make barbecue sauce or to make Sloppy Joe sauce. So now that I know I have a recipe that I really like, and I will tell you, we really, really like this. And I know that there's lots of recipes out there, and you're just gonna have to try them, really, to find the one that your family likes. So many people do recommend Sarah over at Living Traditions, her recipe. So if that's more up your alley, I totally get it. Ketchup is one of those things that's very personal to us, isn't it? So find it, make it your way. This is how we like it. And it's so easy to come together, especially when you're starting with frozen tomatoes. It just makes that whole skinning and process just go so much faster, and they cook down a lot faster too. Whoops, I totally overfilled that one. So this recipe does say it makes 5 pints. I'm gonna get way more than 5 pints out of here, so that tells me I probably started with larger tomatoes. Like I had a couple really, really big Dr. Witchies in there, and a couple really big Cherokee purples. So, yeah, I'm happy with that though. So I'm gonna get this jarred up. I'll bring you back. We'll put it in the canner and I'll let you know how long it's gonna take to can. So I got the canner heating up behind me. This is gonna be water bath canned for 40 minutes. So I'm just cleaning my rims. You definitely don't want any sticky ketchup on there. Like sometimes that's a nice thing about wiping your rims too, is sometimes you'll feel like something that you can't see with your eye. It's a little sticky on the outside there. Put lid on, finger tight. This is gonna go in the canner now. And I know I said I'm gonna get way more than five pints, but I really didn't. This one's not quite full, so this one will just go in the fridge. I won't use a good seal on that one, whoops. I will wait and grab one of my already used lids for that so I don't waste a brand new one. That must have a different dimension. I'm gonna have to find a different lid for that one. Okay, 5 pints, exactly what the recipe said, plus I have some for the fridge. So this is a water bath canner. Or a pressure canner, but I'm not pressure canning it. I'm just setting the lid on it and I'm going to water bath it for 40 minutes. We won't start the timer till the water boils. But as always, I will leave you guys with what the jars look like coming out of the canner. And hopefully it gives you an idea of how you can make just a small batch with some of the last of your harvest tomatoes to get some ketchup put up on your shelves. And we really do, like I said, we really do like it. It is, you know, I'm not gonna fool you. Not that I fooled you before, but I'm not gonna pretend like the green tomato ketchup that I did. I'm like, it's really good, but did it really taste like, you know, Heinz ketchup or something like that? Not really. This is pretty darn close. It's close enough that Todd, my Heinz guy, will eat it. So if that tells you something, it's worth trying. I'll talk to you guys on the next video.